Greetings and welcome to today's Audit Tuesday. This YouAttest podcast is proud to have Christophe Foulon, Executive Cybersecurity Advisor at CPF Coaching. Christophe is a well-regarded cyber specialist and an expert on tools and services for the managed service providers. We are also welcoming Bill Lauterbach, YouAttest Channel Director, and Kashif Mahmood, who is our technical director and will be showing the MSP portal of the YouAttest product. Welcome, Christophe, Bill, and Kashif.
Greetings.
Thanks for having me on. Excited to be here.
Fantastic, guys. First of all, Christophe, can you please introduce yourself and to the Audit Tuesday audience, and specifically tell us what your firm, CPF Coaching, does?
Yeah, CPF Coaching helps small, medium to enterprise businesses as well as manage service providers and manage security service providers with delivering executive cybersecurity advisory services to end clients. And I focus on everything from engineering all the way to developing effective cybersecurity strategy for the different clients. I've spent over 18, close to 20 years now in IT and cybersecurity. So I like to take it to where I can help make things actionable and explainable to whether it's the engineer that I'm talking to or the business leader that needs to make a decision on spend as to why they need to be investing in a certain service.
Fantastic. Much needed service today. And Bill, tell the audience what you do at YouAttest.
Yeah, so I support and run our channel program, and predominantly I work with our service providers to help set them up to be able to offer our services to their end users.
Fantastic. And Kashif, you'll be able to show what you do for our customers at the end. Good stuff. Sure. Okay. So Christophe, obviously a growing and exploding market. I did a LinkedIn post on that the week. The category was amazing. How did you start focusing on the MSP consulting market?
Well, kind of out of serendipity, but also out of a pivot from my corporate career. I left Capital One and wanted to really feel how I can make a more effective difference into the small, medium to small enterprise market. And I found helping MSPs and MSSPs with their delivery to these size clients was one of the most effective ways that I could do this, because often these size clients, they had some technical team, but they often relied on an MSP, MSSP to then deliver the bulk of their support services. So supporting those organizations, and then that helped change to all involved.
Yeah, why don't we? Can you explain something for the audience, because many people get it wrong? What is the difference between an MSP and an MSSP?
So MSP tends to focus on delivering capabilities, typically around IT services and software as a service, mostly focused on availability, whereas MSSPs include the full life cycle, but mostly with a focus on delivering security-like services. So XDR, SIM, SOC monitoring, MDR, EDR, responding to and remediating security events, and helping their clients with that sort of service.
And so the MSSPs, do they often serve the MSPs?
Sometimes, yes. Sometimes an organization will have both an MSP and an MSSP, and sometimes the MSSPs have a separate function within their organization where they tend to do managed services as well. But you don't tend to find that the smaller MSPs, say in your smaller towns, that they would actually then hire an MSSP to support them, because oftentimes they're operating on such small margins that they wouldn't be able to include their services without a significant charge to their clients, or they might not be aware of the need for the service. And that's where I often spend a lot of my time, is around that user education and the need for security services, even as part of managed services.
Yeah, I can see why they would needed you, because I mean, you just brought up something huge in this market, the managed services, is limited personnel and limited budget. So when it comes to tools, what are the keys, features and functionalities these service vendors need?
Most of the times it starts around really understanding what are the core products and services you're delivering for their clients, and that usually focuses around some sort of asset management, data validation and transfer, and then the reason that we're here is identity and access management, because for the most part, many small businesses are going into their environment cloud first, and you're not realizing how data, compute assets, as well as identity assets all have their own string of identities that they need to manage, especially as they start using multiple managed services. So this is often a fact that eludes them, that they need to manage all these identities in a coherent fashion.
Yeah, yeah, it's a challenge for a small group, eh?
Yes, I mean, even larger organizations,
Good point.
they struggle
Cheers.
with this, and that's why they look to organizations like yourself. They look
Yeah.
to cloud service providers to help them with native tooling to do that. But oftentimes that's still not always enough.
Yeah, I remember reading Palo Alto said that 99% of cloud permissions are overly permissive. And they did, the survey was something like 10,000 companies. So big and small. So yeah, it's a challenge for everyone. So Bill, you've been working with the channel for a long time, way before YouAttest, and now service providers. How does what Christophe just said about, the struggles with the tools and specifically identity, are you seeing the same thing in your discussions?
Definitely. And one thing I'm finding out, that since, I've been on with you now for 6 months, and I am, having worked for many other companies, and nobody offers what we offer, as far as the service providers are just amazed that there's no upfront cost to our solution to put in, until they offer it to their clients and run it. And so they can be up and running in a matter of 15 minutes and bringing on customers online. And that's one thing that's really surprised me, is how surprised they are, how easy this is.
Yeah, thanks for the transition over to YouAttest, whatever. And I'm going to ask Christophe. So, in your as you write a website and update it all the time, you had a section called Substack, and this is where you published an article promoting YouAttest as product of the week. Before we can get into why this, can you tell a little about your writings of Substack and what you're bring to the market?
So the writings there, it started a couple years ago, but I took the CISO mind map that was developed by another influential individual in the community, Rafiq, and got permission to touch on one topic every once in a while. And we had just transitioned from identify and detect into starting to understand where you now start to need to defend. So starting to defend, you really go into three planes. You go into your compute plane, you go into your data plane, and you go into your identity plane. And the value that YouAttest provides in that visibility around the identity plane when it comes to user access reviews and ensuring that you don't have overprivilege for some users, that you're rolling off people soon enough, that role changes are readjusting permissions. These are all struggles that, whether I was in a large enterprise supporting a government agency or even a smaller enterprise where they couldn't do something like this other than sending out emails with Excel sheets and asking managers to confirm who had which level of roles. That this was such a struggle for them. And then to be able to automate that at scale across different cloud platforms, that just made it something I had to promote to the community, because it just makes it so easy to do. And that, compared with the cost as well, as you look at the cost of many of these other identity validation services, your costing level is amazing compared to them, and it would be a value add for an MSP or an MSSP to provide this to their clients, and even going directly to a corporation using this internally as a shared service. The cost is less than a head or two heads a year, depending on the size and scope of your organization. So imagine having someone doing that full time, you'd still save using YouAttest for that.
Christophe, we couldn't agree more. I mean, that's amazing analysis you did to find it, because basically, we're involved in what's called in user access reviews for identity governance, and what the normal field is charging for this is way beyond the way you kicked it off so brilliantly. Most MSPs, it's just that the products and the services out there they're just overcharging. So, Bill, before we get into how Christophe chose YouAttest as product of the week, why don't you tell the audience exactly what YouAttest is, especially for the MSP, MSSP, and the consultant services?
Yeah, so YouAttest is a multi-tenant platform that enables the MSP and MSSPs to offer their client user access reviews when they need them. Not everybody needs to do it monthly. They might need quarterly or twice a year. And the benefit to the end user is that they don't have to buy a yearly license and have the people in-house to run these audits. So the MSSP, MSP becomes their audit. Their
It's a tool that they can run these
internal audit. Yeah.
And help the audience out there. User access reviews are what? They're part and parcel of a good identity hygiene, where you can show that your enterprise reviewed all the permissions around access to sensitive data, PHI, PII, CUI, which is needed for all your compliance measures and a secure environment. 100%. Okay. And Christophe, given your review and research, why did you choose YouAttest as product of the week? I know you went into a little points. I'll just give you a few more seconds on that.
No, I'd say, I think in a cloud native environment, identity management of the identity scale, whether those are human identities, machine identities, service principals, those are becoming critical to manage, and even more complex to manage as you start to go through and have sub accounts from organizations that have passed through for MFA and things like this. So managing all these in a cohesive fashion can be a struggle for some. And I just saw the use of YouAttest to make it so easy for stakeholders to use.
100%. And Bill, these features, do you see the MSPs appreciating this once we get a chance? You and Kashif start doing demos in their labs and showing them how to do this?
Definitely, yes. They love the flexibility and the ease of use of the product. And they also like the, it's not only user access reviews, it's preparing for user access reviews.
Oh, yeah.
For instance, doing upfront identity pen tests and get rid of all your ghost and orphan accounts. So there's lots of little use cases for the MSPs to offer their clients.
And I'd add, in a day and age where you pay per account, per identity, just being able to go through and remove those ghost accounts can be a significant cost savings for organizations that might have overlooked doing that capability.
Yeah, Bill,
fast licenses.
Yeah. And I talked over it, right sizing. That's what we do. Absolutely. So, Bill, what type of compliance measures does YouAttest offer to MSPs that they can meet? In what industries?
Well, we have, healthcare, you have your HIPAA and high trust, finance, you have FSMA and a number of other ones. Public companies have to meet SOX. You have your insurance, your privacy, the GDPR and the CCPA and the CCPR, and the government for your NIST CSF and NIST 853.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's just some of them.
Right. In what YouAttest does is it has the ability to go through all your relevant identities. And this is where the MSP, you become the adult in a room. You look at them and say, hold on, we got to step back. We got to, on a quarterly basis, which is the right way to do this, on a quarterly basis, we have to be reviewing your identities, especially around the sensitive data. And then you step them back, and then you give them a way to do it. I mean, it's one thing to say, you need to do this, but this is what you allow to do. Okay, let me show one slide. Here we go. And Kashif will be doing a demo on this or so. Okay, in theory, I'm showing the right slide. Does it say how YouAttest works?
Yes.
Look at that. Blind squirrel finds a nut. Okay, there we go. Got the right screen. Okay, so this is the customer, right? This is your customer out there in consultant land. And they're saying I got these regulations, guidances, security frameworks, and they got this, alphabet soup, and they have their identity soup here. This becomes you. You become the GRC, governance risk practitioner, and YouAttest. And what we do is we'll train you. That's what Kashif and team does. Trains you to do this. You'll imbibe the identities, the metadata, right? We don't need authentication credentials. Keep those in there. Okay, grab the metadata. Who has access to what groupings, what subgroupings, as Christophe said. And then the product, as you'll see in the demo, the product pushes out an attestation. Is that needed? Well, that's required. You're following this CSF 1.1's PRAC-4, okay? And then it was updated in 2.0. Says that the business owners and the business users need to approve this access on a regular basis. And there's good standing for that. That's because that's how you make sure you don't overprivilege and orphan accounts. The result is, and it's an and or an or, it can remove the actual can remove the actual privileges, and also creates a report that security manager, compliance manager, and the auditors get to see. The advantage of this process is amazing time to value and you obtain the audit evidence required by the regulators. That's what is needed. Okay, good stuff. Let's continue on with this. So, Kashif, why don't we show a demo? Show the demo, of course, of the MSP portal, and then just maybe run a quick demo of the like using Azure AD, Entra ID. Sorry for you people up in Seattle. There you
Yeah,
go.
sure.
Right.
Let me go ahead and share my screen. Please let me know when you can see it.
There you go. Cheers.
All right, so
Oh,
you have
Bill,
the
why don't you
visual.
give some voiceover on that since you do these all the time?
All right,
What do
so
we
do
see?
you have the visual of the
Yeah,
MSP portal, Bill?
right.
Yes.
All right, so in this portal, you as an MSP or as an MSSP, you can add multiple clients that you're managing, and right from this portal, you can create POCs, and later on, you can convert those POCs into live account by adding the desired licenses for your clients. And then what it does, it gives you an aggregate by comparing the consumption of the licenses in the current month and comparing it with what was consumed in the previous month, and you get the aggregate number of licenses used in a particular month whenever you do an audit for any of these clients here. So that's when Bill says you're not charged anything up front, but only when you create the audits for your customers, maybe not all of them, but maybe 3, 4, 5 of those customers, and then we aggregate those licenses and show it to you right here on this portal. So you can create those accounts here. You can suspend any account. You can delete accounts here. You can get the report out for each and every account. You can promote a POC account into a live account from the same portal. But the best thing is you can switch into any customer account if you're managing their audits and then become their admin to run these audits, and it will take you into that particular YouAttest tenant for that client where you can manage those campaigns and you can manage those attestations for your client here. So this shows the dashboard, the YouAttest dashboard for one of the clients that you have on your MSP portal. Now here, this tenant is integrated with let's say one of my Okta, and this one is integrated with Azure AD or Entra ID. That's what I call it now. But it's pretty simple. The integration steps are very easy, at least at the front end. But MSPs can go into those settings and do that for you within the first 60 minutes of the call, or any time during the day, and you'll be up and running within 45 to 60 minutes. So that's how easy the integration is. After the integration, and this is just one use case. So if you have applications tied to your Entra ID, you can do those, create those audits through the auto audits. But if you have any other application that is not tied to your IAM or that is not tied to your Entra ID, you can utilize the CSV import module that we have included in this product, and you can import CSVs from those applications into YouAttest and create the audit. So let's go ahead and create one of these audits here. Since I'm plugged into Entra ID, it could be Okta, it could be Penguin, it could be Jump Cloud, any IDM, and let's create an audit. So I'll create an application audit. You can create a group audit or an individual user audit. My API source is my Azure AD or Entra ID. I'll just run a test audit. Give a time frame. I would like my reviewers and the managers that I assign this audit to complete this task within a week or a couple of weeks, depending upon the number of users. If you have 100, you can do it the same day, but let's choose September 24. And now, since I'm plugged into the IAM, which is Entra ID, it's going to show a list of all the applications that are part of my environment, my Azure AD or Entra ID environment. And I can go in bulk, select multiple, or I can go for a single application. For example, I want to target the finance application to see who has access to this through my Entra ID using that authentication method. It will give me a list of all the users that can access this particular application within the company. So once I have the data, I can see there are 4 different people from, well, finance department, let's say finance group. They can access this application. I have their names, their email IDs, who is their manager, and a bunch of other details under more details. For example, you can see the roles, you can see their status, you can see last login, last password change, a bunch of other information to help you decide what you want to do with this identity. In addition to the manager, it pulls the application owners as well. So what happens, you as an admin can auto-delegate these users. Instead of doing and reviewing those users yourself all on your own, you can choose whether they should go out to the manager or to the application or group owner. So if I choose the manager, they will start receiving notifications that there is something waiting for them. And I can show you by refreshing this. I have assigned these users to this manager. And when they see a notification in their inbox, they click on the link and they will get into the product, but only with a reviewer's access, not like they cannot see anything, just like an admin can see the whole picture, the whole audit, but a subset of what you can see as an admin. So I will only see maybe 2 users that report to me, and I'll be responsible for them. So it's all clicking through the GUI. You don't have to type in anything. You don't have to write anything or take a screenshot or go through Excel. Mark, I'm good with his access, so I'm the manager right now. I will recommend to certify his access. But this person here, either he has left the organization, in which case I'll recommend to revoke his access, or if he has moved departments or changed roles, in which case I'll further delegate him out to the right person or the right manager. Otherwise, if I don't have that information, I can delegate him back to the admin to assign it to the right person. In this case, I recommend to revoke. That's all I have to do. And in addition, if you want to justify your action, just put in a comment in there, which becomes the part of the final evidence you will present to the auditor. That's all I have to do as a reviewer. Now, going back to admin, I can see the progress. These managers have completed the task. For the rest of these, we have automated emails, the NAG emails as well, which you can frequently program and customize, and the system will keep pushing those emails out until those managers complete their review, and that's when they stop, going out to those reviewers. Let's say, just to complete the whole process, I will select these 2 because I'm the admin. I can do anything, and I can override as well any recommendation made by the reviewer. So just to complete the audit 100%, that's done. Audit is complete. All you have to do as an admin is now either get the report out or mark this audit as complete, so nobody can change the recommendations after this point. The recommendations coming directly from the managers, and then you execute these recommendations on your IDM or on your IAM. It depends. It only suspends the users from getting access to that resource. The final step is the evidence, either in form of a PDF or in form of a CSV report, where you will have all the details of the users that were undergone this attestation process, and you see the action taken by individuals along with the timestamp. And here comes your justification from a manager who has revoked the access for this identity. So that completes the whole process. But the users or the customers who have direct access to the tenant, they directly open this tenant here. But for MSPs, we have provided all those tenants, and we have bundled those in one window, so you can switch into anyone's dashboard and manage that customer when it comes to doing the attestation for a quarter or for every month or every period that you have recommended by your compliance.
Because departments merge, companies merge, an incident happens. You can do this on demand. That was great, Kaushif. And most importantly, team, we train you, and we have materials. We had one MSP learn this stuff on a weekend from our materials and blew us away. Good stuff, Kaushif. So, Bill, why don't we remind the audience how does YouAttest licenses to the MSPs, MSSPs, and consultant market?
Right. So basically, there's no upfront cost until you use the licenses. So we charge if the MSSP or MSP uses the license for this month, they wouldn't get a bill till the following month. So there's no monthly cost if they don't use the license. And when they use it, we bill them the following month.
Good stuff. All right, let's wrap this up. That was good stuff. Christophe, can you tell the audience how to reach you and how best?
Yeah, easiest place to reach me is cpf-coaching.com, or you can find me on LinkedIn, Christophe Foulon, and happy to help interact with you and answer any questions there.
Fantastic. And we at YouAttest can be reached at youattest.com or just write us at info@youattest.com. All the best, and thanks a lot, Christophe. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Chris.
Thanks all.
Thanks, team.
Good stuff, Bill and Kashif.
Bye.